Hello, hello, and welcome, cuties, to QT with Jess and the First Pour. I'm your host, Jessica Q. Ross White, and I'm so excited that you decided to pull up a chair for our very first spot of tea together. Let's do a quick check in. What's your tea? I'm currently steeping a nice cup of peppermint tea. What flavor did you bring to the space? I want you to check in below. Shout out your flavor. I'm going to pause for a second. And while I pause, I want you to check in, but just make sure you hashtag QT with Jess. So anybody, come on and let me know what's going on. Give me some shout outs. Give me some shout outs, some likes. Let me know again. Shout out your flavor again. I'm drinking a nice little brew of peppermint tea. And I shouldn't say brew because clearly tea is not a brew. But while you're checking in, make sure you hashtag QT with Jess before I officially get started. I'm just waiting for a few more folks to jump on. I want to sip some of this tea. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're here. Say hi and let me know you're here. So there's no secret to the name of this podcast. The initial for my middle name is Q. Drinking tea is one of my favorite things to do. To me, tea with its various flavors brings a mood and a vibe to every sip and moment in life. I believe, just my little theory, that God blessed me with the ability to connect with people from many walks of life, regardless of the rooms that I'm in. And I also believe that purpose and ministry go far beyond just four walls. So, because of this, I thought it was necessary to be very intentional about how I share my truth, my life, my experiences, and my time. I'm not claiming to be an expert on anything. There's only one who holds that authority. I just have a few things to pour out to you. This podcast is about you spending time with my friends and me through dialogue, granting you an opportunity to reflect on the world you're in while blending the wonder and mystery of my cue, my love for tea, and my desire to spend some quality time with you. Again, I would like folks to check in. Let me know if you're around. Check on in. Like and check on in. Make sure you share this feed. So let me tell you about the goal of this podcast, okay? My goal is to create a platform and a safe space for our authentic truth together. Life, love, health, relationships, culture, and faith, and purpose will be the center of our time together. This QT isn't about perfection, it's about being perfectly seen, being transparent, and walking in freedom and your healing. I hope that we set a standard for tapping into who we truly are as humans, finding balance in our decisions, and just being honest, reflective, and growing together. Whether you're looking for a fresh perspective, a moment of connection, or a spot of encouragement, I believe that you'll find it here. QT with Jess is for everyone. Okay? So, cuties, talk to me. Let me know why you decided to sit with me today. We're going to take a quick break if you don't have your beverage of choice, but grab it now. Get ready to talk back to me as well. If something hits you, don't be shy to throw out your comments. I'll be right back. But again, talk to me. Let me know why you decided to sit with me today. Ooh, I see that. Eulalia. Hey, Eulalia. She says she's checking in and she has some green tea with her right now. Hey, Miss Emma, I see you. Thank you for joining. Hey, hey, Tina, how are you? So glad to see you with me. Hey, Stace. Nothing at the moment. You got to go get you some green tea or something. Or Mandarin orange spice. Okay, I love a good orange spice. I definitely love a good orange spice. Okay. Damien C. Stewart. Hey, Damien, how are you? Well, he's in the building. Okay. Thank you for hashtagging QT with Jess. And again, just let me know why you took a moment to sit with me today. Let me see if anybody else is saying anything. I'm going to double check one more time. Okay, so like I said earlier, we took our little quick break, but when I get ready to come back, when I'm getting ready to talk to you about a few things, and I just want you to know that if something hits you, if something is meaningful to you, I want you to make sure that you shout it out back to me in your comments, okay? So I'll be right back in 5 seconds. Here we go. So hey, I'm back. This part is called the first sip, okay? Have you ever walked around with some form of a mask on? How long did you have that mask on? Is it still on? Why is it still on? The thing about masks is that they limit and skew our vision of who we are and are designed to become. So let's dig into this for a moment. As a human being walking around with an invisible mask, the human I'm talking about is me. A person walking around with a filter, so to speak. This mask keeps us bound and or protected from our unwanted thoughts, bound in our insecurities and past hurts, makes us feel uninvited, unwanted, undervalued, unwelcomed, etc., right? And I don't know if I was ever truly never invited somewhere, but there have been moments in my life when I felt like I needed to wear a mask to sit at specific tables. The tables I'm referring to are not the tables of the top executives, the big wigs, so to speak. I'm referring to the daddy and mommy tables, the building relationship and friendship tables, love tables, the finding God tables, the the sister and brother tables, the all exclusive tables that we keep ourselves away from because we believe we aren't worthy enough or have all the credentials to take a seat at those tables. So, can I be honest with you for a moment? Are you sure? A significant portion of my life was masked. This doesn't mean that I wasn't being my authentic self, but it does mean that the experiences that I have had, and have had and do encounter in my life may have been skewed or interrupted by how I navigate the world. Is that anybody else's testimony in the house? I'm going to stop for a second just to make sure some of us check in. Is that anybody else's? Has anybody worn a mask before? Is there anybody out there navigating spaces differently because of these masks? I'm just checking in for a second. So let me tell you a little bit more, right? Let me tell you a little more. You see, I built what we call kind of like a new filtration system, so to speak, right? I can't even name all the filtration systems that I've built, but there is a considerable level of exhaustion that comes from this type of living that I don't wish for my worst enemies. Don't get me wrong, right? My mama and my grandmother raised me to believe all the things that God says about us in this word and in his word. Like the things like, I am made in his image, right? I am wonderfully made. I am a friend and a daughter of the king. He loves me despite my faults and shortcomings. I can do all things through him, etc. They spoke life into me as a young girl and were true examples of strength, courage, push, and tenacity. But I often found myself questioning these things in my inner parts because of the parts of the foundation that we don't want to disclose out of fear of not looking perfect. Anybody ever had those moments of fear and not wanting to express what's going on the insides, not wanting to share how life is has handled you, so to speak. And so, out of fear of not wanting to look, say, janky, right? I have many things to be transparent about, and I can't express everything right now, but I am going to touch on one measure on my ruler's life, on my life's ruler, let me say that I believe was the start of me doubting those themes that my mother taught me from the beginning, from like the very, very beginning of things. Is there anybody out there that may have daddy issues? I want you to check in. Change your view to the front. Yep, thank you. For sure. Thank you, Eulalia. Thank you. Um, So, anybody have any daddy issues per se? Any issues with mothers? Any issues with just me? All right. Well, let's talk about my daddy issues. I'm getting ready to be very transparent with you in this space. So, let me set up some could I say like some contextual facts. I'm going to leave some things out only for the sake of time purposes right now, but believe me, we have a lot of time together in the future. So here's some facts. I was born in a two-parent Christian Bible bred home in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Both of my parents are in ministry or were in ministry. My father was a pastor. My parents separated. My mom moved me and my sisters to Philadelphia at the age of 6 without my father. For almost about 7 years, I had brief, inconsistent phone conversations with my father, and there was no such thing as FaceTime during this era of my life. And the phone conversations ended in, "I love you, Daddy." And his response to me was, "God bless you too." And over these 7 years, my father said he would visit us, but he never showed up either of the two times that he said he was coming to visit. And the last key point right now is that he died in March of my freshman year in high school. I'll let you sit in that for about 30 seconds. Again, this was just like surface level facts and information that I thought was super beneficial in understanding just the small things that some of us believe are small, but how these things affect us in the long run. So I'm going to keep going. So, in brief, when your human father isn't present in the way you hope, in the way God ordained the head of the home to be, the children do reap. Reaping can harvest both positive and negative things. The reaping, for me, manifested in insecurities, mistrust, low self esteem, unanswered questions, loss, heartbreak, and misinterpreted love. And those are only a few things that I'm naming. Regardless of what my mama and my true village poured into me to build me up, the internal struggle was still hard to defeat. Honestly, if I'm being honest, sometimes it's still hard. How could I trust the word of God, my mama, when this human, the person I mirror, let me down in significant ways? So instead of retreating to the Father above, casting my cares on him, to lean into his ultimate love, I retreated to fit into a mold, a mask, a filter I subconsciously believed would grant me the acceptance and love from the being that helped bring me into this world. Instead of accepting and consuming the love and support I was receiving from him and my village, the people positioned in my life to help me navigate the growings of up, so to speak. The marathon that I ran, chasing after my father, is maybe 2 to 3 more episodes worth of content if I think about it. And I'm getting kind of choked up by it because this level of exhaustion sometimes is still very, very real for me. The limitless amount of yeses, the boxes I kept to myself and kept myself trapped in, the inability to say no, the fear of not being accepted, the need to accomplish certain milestones. Should I go on? I chased all of these things to get and gain something that I would never be able to attain. Anybody experience any of this? Check in with me. Check in. Check in. And so, because of this rat race, y'all, I am tired. I was tired. I live with a massive weight on my shoulders, reaching out, pleading, panting for love and acceptance, only to end up empty handed, with not a medal in sight, with not a trophy in sight. Empty handed, meaning my father was only going to be who he was and wasn't to me. That is it. I desperately, desperately, desperately wanted his response towards me, right? But it wasn't meant for me to do so. I want to say that again. So many times we go after wanting to change other people in our lives, and it's not our responsibility, nor do we have the ability to do so. Of course, this distance run taught me lessons, built positive characteristics within me, and has made me who I am today, even in this season of my life. When I tell y'all, I have waited so long to hear, to feel, to experience things with my daddy, with my father. and longingly waited many, many, many years after his death. Angelique Struthers, who's an author, talks about this word surrender and surrendering our waiting seasons to God. She states that, God, although it's humanly inconceivable for us to wrap our minds around, that he puts us in these waiting rooms, so to speak, by design, regardless of our concept of time or feelings, to shape us into what he is molding us to be. Y'all, I'm still waiting and yearning for those things, but I am in that waiting room and I'm healing from certain parts and not all of them. I'm still yearning and learning that God's will is his will and his ways are higher than my ways and his thoughts and actions and even his being are higher than mine. But the things I experienced in the midst of the marathon, the challenges I faced second guessing myself, the things I put myself through, the emotional roller coasters I've been on, the opportunities I've missed due to fear, the things I've allowed my life and in my life to be and become, all stemmed from this impossible feat. Some of our childhood experiences affect our emotional intelligence throughout our lives, even in adulthood. Y'all check with me. So Tina's saying this is a very touchy issue for her, and so is Emma. Miss Emma, thank you so much for being transparent and open about these things. I'm not officially trying to contain myself, but I also just want you to know that there's a level of pain, there's a layer of it that still exists, although I do know and I can stand firm on understanding that I am um, God's daughter, right? And I didn't necessarily need my natural father because he has always been that for me. God has always been that for me. So in essence, I sought after the wrong father, right? That's easier said than done, especially for a child, adolescent, and teenager dealing with life. I can remember vividly, particularly in my adolescence area, preteen area, where I struggled bad grappling with the understanding that my father didn't choose me, right? That um, he chose the distance. He chose something that I didn't understand, right? He chose these things and it affected me in school. It affected me with my relationship with my mother. It affected me with my relationships and friendships. It affected me with all my ships, right? And so when we look back, right, I had the foundational tools to stop that chase, but I didn't. Even though my mom poured into me, even though the village poured into me, maybe, well, I do believe that the chase was necessary for me. Most of the time, when we're in the thick of it, you can insert whatever your it is right now. You can't rationalize or understand or even accept what is happening until you learn from and reflect on the process. You reflect on the situation. You reflect on the circumstance, that season. Most of the time, this process requires surrender and that childlike faith that we tend to lose or even mishandle when things get really, really real to us and happen to us. So I am an heir, a child of the king. I can freely give, God can freely give us all these things according to his purpose and our alignment with him, right? But I was bound by the run. I was bound by that distance run. And I ran the race, checking off boxes of accomplishments only to be depleted. Why am I telling you all of this? Because I didn't understand my full value until I believed in my worth. I stopped consciously and unconsciously running after acceptance from others. Still working on this just a little bit. But it's now more a standard thought and practice for me to be mindful of what I need to be okay, and that I need to be okay with just me. There's no validation I need from anyone else, right? Just me. So let's define what I mean by your spot at the table. What does finding your spot mean practically? It's not physical location, but an internal shift inside of you. Finding your spot is a metaphor. Practically speaking, and it refers to the process of discovering and settling into your authentic, valued, and most effective self to serve, find, and appreciate you first, and then others. I'm going to say that one more time. It is the process of discovering and settling into your authentic value and most effective self to serve, find, and appreciate you first and then others. Somebody put in the chat or in the comments, I have permission to be me, and I have permission, and you have permission to be you. I have permission to be me, and you have permission to be you. So again, I'm not an expert, y'all. I just know what's been helping me grow. Notice I said helping me evolve, grow, and love me more than chasing after it from others. So, how do we find this permission to be? Okay, how do we find it? Waiting for a few people to check in. So, how do we find this permission to be? Here's my sip on it in three parts: acceptance, asking for help, and resting without earning it. I borrowed the last two from two young ladies I follow at Shrink Chicks. So let's dig in to begin finding our spot. But first, we're going to take a break. So I'm back. So let's dig into beginning the beginning of finding your spot, your seat at the table. Okay, the things I said were acceptance. I said asking for help and resting without earning it. So acceptance, right? Everywhere you look, the world tells you to fix yourself. From the beginning of time, people have been telling us to fix ourselves. They tell us to buy this course or read this book or wake up earlier, right? But what if the next step isn't to improve, but to simply just find a level of acceptance? We also gain this messaging, right, from our from the unspoken and spoken communication that we begin to receive as children, right, from the people all around us. And those people are our parents, right, the teachers and other family members, the superficial friendships that we build because we don't have a real grapple or understanding of who we are yet. Y'all can keep the list going on of all those ships that define us and help us define ourselves. So I'm going to define two terms for you within this acceptance model. And one is called self-improvement. You've heard of this before. And the other is self-acceptance and what the full understanding of that is. So self-improvement focuses on a future version of you, the future self, the person tomorrow, the person a week from now, the person 6 months from now. It implies a current deficit or flaw that must be eliminated. The key word in all this is fixing. The crazy thing about this whole self improvement or self help guides is that you are not broken or flawed. I'm here to tell you this. You're not broken or flawed. God didn't design any broken things, He didn't design any mess. He is the craftsman of perfection within you. So self acceptance focuses on the present version of you. It's an act of radical acknowledgement. Oh boy, you're a whole human with strengths, and guess what? With weaknesses. Oh no, I'm not. Oh no, I'm not. Oh yes, we all are, right? And that's absolutely, guess what? Okay. Okay. Right? The key word of here of this whole self-acceptance is acknowledging, right? Where you are. I just want to be clear that acceptance is not a resignation of you. You're not dumping yourself. You're not putting you down. It's not giving up on you. It is not saying it's not saying like I'll never change or I'll never evolve or I don't have goals I want to attain. That's not what this acceptance is saying. What it is saying is that I am complete right now, regardless of what I lack. And I don't know if that's going to hit somebody a certain way, but even me saying that again to myself makes me understand a little bit better of how I am whole regardless of what I lack. That I can choose to grow, but I don't have to be in order to deserve to receive and or experience authentic love, authentic acceptance, authentic peace, authentic joy. You don't have to be a complete package right now, but you are complete because God made us all complete. He gave us all the things that we need inside of us to be whole. But we just have to tap into those waiting rooms, right? Oh, those waiting rooms. Oh, cuties. Remember that marathon I kept running to get to my Father's acceptance and love? I don't think I'm ever going to be able to keep up with it, and I'm not. Again, I said earlier, I it's humanly impossible for me to chase something, not only because he we had the 7 years, and the 7 years that we had, or the 14 years, let me say, that we had together and not together. In between those things, it was like 7 years with him, 7 years without him. How am I supposed to be chasing a ghost to an extent at this point? Just know and remember that you are not accepting the space that you were in the past, or the thing that happened to you in the past. What you are accepting is it happened. This is the thing. This is the thing or the challenge that I'm still dealing with, that I am still working through, but also understand that you are complete and you are whole at the same time. But accepting what is half the battle, right? They all say that, right? Let me drink a sip of tea. Y'all go ahead and take a sip. Let me get a little sip in. Anybody got anything to say back to me right now? Does anybody have anything back to say to me? Okay. So the other point was the asking for help thing. And again, this other point is from my girls at Shrink Chicks, which is asking for help, letting people show up for you without a 10-point apology. Oh my goodness. Oh my. If I could shout this from the top of a mountain right now, this asking for help thing, letting people show up for you, the letting part, the allowing part, let me tell you what my little sip on it is. So I internalized that statement from shrink chicks, just like this. That reciprocity is a core human need. We need this reciprocity. We need this exchange, right, to take place. Allowing others to give is a gift. I'm going to say that again. I don't know if this is you, but I'm going to talk to you right now. If you allow others to give to you, it is a gift. Accept the gift. You may be the person pouring all the time and never receive anything back. Or you may be the person pouring and not willing to accept the return due to past hurts, traumas, fears, or the feeling of being a burden. The latter statement is a real thing, y'all. Anybody? Oh, this is a word tonight. Okay. Okay, I'm glad this is a word tonight because I'm trying to tell you that I'm not only speaking to me, I am speaking to you and I'm speaking to me again, right? Because as we're talking through these things, that latter statement, that accepting help, that allowing your hand to be held out for someone to grab it and take hold of what you need at that moment is a big, hard thing to kind of hash out. So I think it's appropriate for us latter people. I'm just going to help you out a little bit. I think it's appropriate for us to reframe this help or this ask, okay? When you ask for help, just reframe it like you're actually giving someone else a gift. And that gift is the opportunity to experience the positive, reinforcing feeling of being useful, valued, and needed. What? So if I receive help, if I am willing to allow the exchange to take place, you're telling me that I'm actually gifting someone. So not only am I the poorer, but I'm the poorer and the receiver in this exchange. Tell me about it. We are designed to help each other. You are not a transaction. We are connections, people. God created us to connect. He created us to connect to him and he created us to connect to each other. One of the main reasons why he put Adam to sleep, right? He put him to sleep because it's not good for this young man to be alone. He needs some form of connection, right? So let me give you a quick example of this whole accepting, because I like to make it very tangible, or I can pick this up and apply this tomorrow type of thing, right? So imagine a friend offers to bring you a meal after you got a major surgery done or you had a really tough week, right? Instead of deflecting or minimizing the favor, oh, it's just a little thing. Don't worry about it. I'll be okay. You accept this gift with a gracious, that would be a huge help. Thank you so much. This allows your friend to fulfill their desire to care for you, and you don't need a 10-point apology. A simple thank you is the full exchange. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. How many times are we sitting in this space that we don't want help for several reasons? And I'm going to tag on a little bit of that later. But the sheer exchange of just saying, I appreciate you asking me to be my support. I am going to receive the support and I am going to say thank you. There's a full exchange that is taking place. There is a full connection that is taking place. And here's another pro or another sip of minds within this space is that the practice of vulnerability builds deeper intimacy. So we have this thing called hiding versus connecting, right? I am a hider. Who hides? Who hides in here? And I want you to be honest, because if you are a hider, if you tuck everything into the inward parts, if you keep those thoughts there, if you never reach out for help, if you always say no, I'm okay, or no, don't do that, I'll be fine, we're hiding our struggles. And that creates an emotional distance and reinforces that mask that I talked about earlier. Right? Asking for help is an act of vulnerability that demonstrates trust in a person and in another person, not just yourself. So I'm going to stop right there for a second because vulnerability, being vulnerable, demonstrates a level of trust in somebody else. Y'all, I just told y'all I have daddy issues, right? How am I going to trust, right? This is one of the hardest things for me. I hide in my supernatural strength. Anybody else out there hiding in their supernatural strength? Although I understand that vulnerability strengthens the emotional bonds in a relationship, the big ticket takeaway is that, and I'm going to say this for you, and I'm going to let it attack me as well because I wanted to encourage me as well. The big ticket takeaway is that it helps strengthen and boost our core to trust. If we don't test the thing with other people, if we don't test the thing with other circumstances and situations, if we don't test the thing with other opportunities in life that present itself, then how are we going to be able to strengthen and boost our core of vulnerability, of being vulnerable, of being able to put our hand out to accept the help that we need? It sends this authentic message of trust, right? I trust you and myself enough to let you see my struggle and my need. That's kind of hard too for people to accept. Some people don't want to feel needed. Some people don't want you to know what they're going through. Some people want to be the He-Mans, the She-Ras, the Supermans, the Superwomen, the Supermen, the Superwomen. And in that, we end up hurting ourselves. So let me give you something tangible to move away with, right? So anybody have to move furniture before? Anybody? Instead of trying to move that piece of furniture alone and injuring yourself, how many people? I'm one of them strong black women that love to move furniture by themselves. I've been moving furniture since I was young. I also had a grandmother who moved lots of furniture by herself. So I know how to do it, right? But in that, right, I'm injuring me, not only physically, but mentally. You can call a neighbor, you can call your hubby, you can call a friend. That small shared physical effort becomes a moment of bonding. And it breaks down the wall of, I have to do everything by myself. I was telling somebody before of the opportunities that I've had, and I'm going to be transparent with you. With being an alpha female, right? And the reason why I am an alpha female, as they call it, is because I was raised by these strong black women who did everything by themselves and ain't nobody else got to do nothing for them because we gonna do it ourselves, right? And ultimately what happens in that is that you exhaust yourself. You deplete yourself. You are not good to anyone, including yourself. And again, we're talking about your spot, getting to a place where you're accepting where you are and getting to a place of comfort, getting to a place of peace, getting to a place of joy, getting place to a place of love that you so deserve for yourself. And the only way you can do that is by asking for help. And when you ask for help, you allow people to show up for you. And in turn, you show up for yourself. I mean, I think that this is it. I think that's it. That's all I have to say. If we ask for help, you're allowing people, you're giving them an opportunity to show up for you. And since we like to do stuff for ourselves or do stuff by ourselves, you're also turning it back over to you and showing up for you. Don't walk around carrying the lie and the falsehood that because your daddy didn't show up, nobody else will. Ugh. Because your mama wasn't there, because your best friend who you've known since you were a baby, now in your 20s, she just did something that has completely wrecked the friendship. So I can't trust anybody else. She never showed up for me when I poured into her the way that I poured into her. Don't walk around carrying that lie and that falsehood that because these people didn't show up for you, that nobody else will. I think that's the full enemy in these other things that are attacking us daily, our mental space that keep us in that box. And then we ultimately end up alone again and exhausted, folks, exhausted. When I ask for help, the weight is lifted. I'm talking about me. There are times when I still don't ask for help, but when I do, the weight is so lifted. When I try to carry my own on things on my own because I don't believe anyone can handle it with me or for me, I tend to lose and retreat to the covers over my head in hiding from the world. Has anybody experienced this? Oh man, I love to hide. Or if it's you're not hiding, then you're upset with your significant other, right? Your husband or your wife because they don't help me. I can't believe I'm never get like you have to check on yourself and reflect on yourself. I mentioned the alpha person in me because there have been times where I did things on my own. And if I'm being honest, I was frustrated with my husband. But I was frustrated with my husband because I did not put anything in his hands when I should have. He asked for things. I was like, no, I'll take care of it. No, 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 no. And then I'm stressed and then I can't function. And so, with that being said, I just want to make sure that I know none of you have experienced this, but if you have, just tap in and check in. It behooves us. It behooves us. My mama used to say that a lot. It behooves you to put out your hand and receive what God is giving you, what God is giving you, what your friends are giving you. And I say God because he is the author and the finisher of all things. So if he allowed that particular moment to take place where you needed that help, you needed that opportunity, you needed that scenario, you needed that season of support, then take it. And my number 3 here is the second point from Shrink Chicks. And they say, restrict your rest without earning it. Resting without earning it. Lying down or laying it down because you're human. You're not a machine. I'm going to say this one more time. Resting without earning it. Lying down or lying it down without any excuses, without earning it. Here's my little thing, my little sip on this. Your worth is intrinsic, not determined by the 2 P's, people and productivity. Ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch. Mars said, you can't pour out of an empty cup. We absolutely cannot. But your worth is not determined by the 2 P's, by people and productivity. I know I am not the only one that on Post-its, on electronic checklists, on paper, on an actual notepad, you are not writing check boxes and lists of things to do. And if you don't check them off, you feel some type of way. I know I can't be the only person. So here's my sip on this. There is this thing called earning rest myth. Like you have to earn this thing. Like, no. Start by challenging this idea that we have to earn the rest, the right to rest. Start challenging that right now. This is a destructive cultural narrative that treats humans like productivity machines, right? So we live in this world where they say you have to earn your rest. Did you work hard enough? How long did you work, right? How long did you work? Did you work long enough? Well, that wasn't a significant amount of hours that you should have been putting in, right? So we want to put our focus on the true value of rest is should be intrinsic, and that you're worthy of that you are worthy of care and maintenance simply because, drum roll please, you exist. That's it. You are worthy of care. You are worthy of maintenance simply because you exist. I'm talking to the mamas. I'm talking to the hardworking daddies. I'm talking to the aunties. I'm talking to the sister friends. I'm talking to all of you. I'm talking to the homies. You are worthy of care and maintenance simply because you exist. You don't have to earn it. That's it. So let me give you another example. Oh, that Saturday nap. Anybody like to nap? It's, it's a very good pastime for me. Think about waking up on a Saturday feeling absolutely depleted. Your chore list is long, the garage needs cleaning, the emails are piling up. And in the past, you would force yourself to get up. But today, you choose the couch, a book, and a nap. I'm very, very proud of you. Here's my sip and my takeaway from this. By choosing rest, you validate your body's needs and reinforce the belief that you are worthy of care, regardless of the chores left undone. Rest is not a reward, it is a requirement. Somebody tell me, come on, come on. You're worthy of rest. Somebody tell me. Somebody shout it out. See, there's a strategic inactivity, right? That is essential for creativity and problem solving. I'm going to say that one more time. There's a strategic inactivity that is essential for creativity and problem solving. There's a science to rest. Did y'all know that? There's a science to it. So we're going to shift our perspective from calling ourselves lazy, from calling ourselves less than worthy, from calling ourselves whatever, fill in the blank, right? To being strategic. The brain isn't sitting idle when you rest. It enters the diffuse mode of thinking, where the mind wanders and consolidates information. This rest period is essential for making nonlinear connections. The restless brain is often the brain that is solving all of the complex problems in the background, right? And so Mackenzie, I laugh at this often. Mackenzie, my daughter, she says often, and she used to say this often, let me say that she didn't like or need a nap. And when we asked, her the rationale behind that statement, she plainly stated, when you sleep, you don't do anything. It's boring. And we have to explain to her, you've been staring at a difficult paragraph or a difficult life problem for about an hour, and you've been hitting a wall, and you stop to step away, you take a 15-minute walk, maybe stare aimlessly at the sky, right? But when you return, the perfect phrasing or the solution suddenly pops into your mind. The rest wasn't wasted time. It was crucial problem solving time, or it was your brain, your being that just needed rest, right? And so your permission to rest, ask for help, and start to accept you for you, regardless of what the world or messaging is saying about you. These are the fundamental things to setting your own table. Because when you're truly rested, when you lean on others and resources and love on all the weaknesses, you'll have what you need to show up in your full, authentic truth. So we're going to take a quick, brief moment. We're about to take this break, but just think about this. You don't have to respond in the chat, but if you want to, I offer it and I hope that you will. What's one thing you've been hiding about yourself that you wish you could share? That you wish you could share? What's one thing? I was very transparent with you about my daddy issues, about my husband issues, and it wasn't issues with him, it was my issues, right? Um, what is something that you've been hiding for yourself, your insecurities, that you wish you could share with someone? Again, if you want to share, you're at liberty to share. We're going to take a quick break. Thank you to my brother Dwayne on here, who basically said rest should be on the top of the list. He responded to Kia. Rest should be on the top of the to-do list. Thank you, Kia, for saying it, and thank you to my brother for reiterating it. And so we have the final sip right here. We have some actionable, practical steps to step into and create your spot. Ask yourself, reflect, and respond to the following questions or statements. And again, these are things that I'm asking and reflecting on for myself, as well as coming to opportunities where I'm doing this for you as well, right? And so you want to identify your tea and what brings you comfort, what will help you arrive at a place of freedom. You want to clear the clutter. Now, some people think that clutter is a whole bunch of books that you're never ever going to read again and they're just all around, or a whole bunch of magazines sitting around, or clutter could be you just have too many clothes. Like, I'm not talking about the junk drawer in the kitchen. I'm not talking about that kind of clutter. What people or habits drain your energy, right? What Why are you geared or masked the way that you are masked? Is there something in your past you need to let go of? With support, like, do you need some therapy? Do you need a religious base? Do you need some friendship circles? Also, you want to send the invitation. Again, I know this is hard for all of us, and I'm the all of us. I keep saying this, I'm the all of us. Who can you trust in this season of your life? This means so much. Who can you trust in this season of your life? Reach out to the one trusted person that you can be vulnerable with. Grab hold of someone who will pray, Pray, behind your back, and not pray, Prey, behind you. So again, we need to make sure that we identify what our tea is, what's going to bring us comfort. We need to clear the clutter. We got to clear those habits. We got to clear those people that drain us, right? And then we have to send out those invitations. We have to put out our hands openly, not only to God to ask him to pour what he wants to pour, but also we need to make sure that our hands are open to receive the help that we need in those seasons, in those moments, in those day-to-day tasks, in those anythings that you may need super support in. Grab hold of someone, again, who will pray for you and behind your back and with you, right? So here's my heart to heart. In this song by India Ari, she entitled it Get It Together. She released it in about 2002, in the olden days. And a part of the first verse says, one shot to your heart without breaking your skin. No one has the power to hurt you like your kid. Kept it inside, didn't tell no one else, didn't even want to admit it to yourself. And now your chest burns and your back aches from 15 years of holding the pain. And now you only have yourself to blame if you continue to live this way. I'm here to remind you that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You were created with all inspiring complexity, care, and uniqueness. You are God's handiwork, intentionally and skillfully created, like a work of art by the master craftsman. And acknowledging that this journey is ongoing and imperfect, but let's work together to get it together. Okay? So here's a teaser for our next time together. We'll tap into what purpose actually feels like beyond a vision board. At this point, I hope that you subscribe, follow, and leave a comment. If this conversation impacted you, please share it with a friend or family member. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. It truly helps this platform grow. You can find me on all social media platforms at QT with Jess, where you can share your own thoughts and questions there. Right now, if you could, do me the favor, take a photo of what's in your cup, even if it's empty now, and share it on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook with hashtag QT with Jess. And tell me what you're reflecting on from our time together. Thank you again for sharing this first pour with me. Until next time, keep steeping your authentic truth and remember your spot at the table begins with you. I'll see you later.